all my beautiful souls. Welcome back into the Serene Corner. Welcome in if you are new. Ooh, it feels so weird saying that twice in one day, but we are filming twice in one day today because I just posted a video about Blake Lively and the Justin Baldoni case. And I want to make another one because why, when I went straight after filming that back to my TikTok, again, the For You page moves so fast, one, and two, public perception as well, two, moves so fast. So already so many things have changed, so many things are happening. Not even change, just the opinions and reactions are just coming out so fast because, suits and things have been filed, and so reactions are coming in. And I simply want to react to this. I will not be putting this in my trending take series. At least I'm not sure I won't be putting it there, but I'm not going to be talking as much in this video. I'm going to be watching some of these videos that I simply downloaded and saw conversations happening that I thought were important. I recorded some more comment sections as well too for us to react to. And so we're going to basically just look at, honestly, what I want to call the dumpster fire that is right now Blake Lively's public identity and public appearance, because it is so worse than I thought, honestly, worse than I thought. Because I don't really keep up with her like that. Again, not that much of a fan. If you follow me on TikTok, you've probably seen me say that I'm not much of a fan, because before I even got into looking into any of this, I had seen, again, people talking about her on my timeline, and I made a video talking about a few other things, and I was like, Blake Lively, girl, what's going on? Because the girls are chatting you up, and not in a good way, not in a good light. And now that I've done this deep dive, it's worse, like I said, than I thought. So we're going to get right into it. I believe one of the first videos is going to be Bohemian Diva again. And it's going to be kind of a breakdown video slightly again, too. If this is your first time watching anything on the topic, this should help. But again, we're going to get into some reactions. Because, girl, it's so bad. It's so bad.
Whoever has the TikTok handle Therese AK, you posted a comment under a video on August 26, 2024, saying, well, now I know what not to buy. Thank you. Yeah, your comment just got cited in Blake Lively's New York lawsuit. I'm assuming that it was under a Blake Brown promo video of some sort. But yeah, I tried to find your handle to see if you have an account. And then I tried to find the video so I could track down this comment, but it was a little tricky. But yeah, sweetie, your comment just got cited. Oh, it don't stop there. Whoever has the Instagram handle Katerina Art Design, the comment that you left on Blake Brown Beauty Instagram comment on August 30th, 2024, be ashamed, a great opportunity was missed to share a great message through the film where it would have made a big difference in my lives. Now remember, she'll make up a story where she is the victim so that others can feel empathy for her. Yeah, your Instagram comment just got sourced.
That's crazy that they're like citing and pulling comments from comment sections. And granted, I do that for my YouTube videos, but again, please be careful what you comment, number one, which should always be what you're doing anyway. But even more so now, because they are pulling them for cases as evidence.
Whoever's Instagram handle Santeria Lily, you left a comment on Blake Brown's Instagram, August 26, 2024. Nobody is gonna buy this crap now. Good job in ruining your brand before it even started. Nasty, mean girls never prosper. Your shit got cited too. Last one. Whoever's Instagram handle Hollingsworth1830. You left a comment on Blake Brown's Instagram, September 5th, 2024. No thanks. Why would anyone buy your beauty products? More overpriced junk by vapid and narcissistic, sick celebrity. I would rather spend my money with someone who can actually care about women. Take this crap and your florals and sit on it. I'll show you the screenshots, y'all. If you can find these people, let them know that their comments has been cited on page 72 of the lawsuit. So I'm laughing at the fact that she really did took people's Instagram and one TikTok and cited as a source and then turned around and blamed it on Justin Baldoni. These are organic comments. I could clock a bot comment from a mile away. These are organic by actual people. And she's blaming Justin Baldoni for what other...
That's true, actually. I did not think about that, but that's true. Because that's why I'm like, wow, it's crazy they're pulling comments in a lawsuit. This is crazy. Or potential suit, seeking a suit, an ability to sue. Oh my gosh, so interesting. But yeah, and also like, yeah, are you gonna say if are they trying to say and argue that they're fabricated or that there's someone on Justin's side making these comments? Because I'm telling y'all, the amount of like honestly hatred on the internet for Blake Lively is crazy. Is crazy. Truly insane. Especially right now. So that's a little bit of a breakdown, even slightly, like barely, honestly. I don't even think she really got much into a breakdown there. Let's move on. I'm just going to present these videos and we're just going to keep going through it. And I have a lot from Bohemian Diva because she's doing a lot of good stuff. A lot of good content over there about this right now.
Do you remember when I had posted a video that said that why didn't Blake Lively file a sexual harassment complaint with SAG? And some folks were like, oh, SAG is not powerful enough. They can't do shit. And I'm like, that's not true. Because I've had conversations with people who are members of SAG, who are in the industry, that confirm exactly what I said, corroborated exactly what I said. SAG is very much powerful. And if there's any issues, if there is a violation of their guidelines that they put in place in order to protect their members, they will shut a production down in a heartbeat. So that was one of those questions that really, I was like, some ain't right in the bathwater. Then in Blake Lively's complaint, one of the charges is failure to investigate, saying that she reported the sexual harassment, but HR did absolutely none of that. Okay. So riddle me this. If she reported the sexual harassment to Sony, a representative at Sony, and the feedback was, I can't help you, we're responsible for distribution, then why did the representative from Sony show up to the January 4th meeting? Why is there a text message between an unnamed source and a reporter from TMZ that says that Blake Lively never filed a sexual harassment complaint with HR? There is no record of a sexual harassment complaint with HR. And let me show you the screenshots. Because anything can be deemed as sexual harassment. They threw that out there because they knew women, especially the feminist girlies, were going to get spun up and that they were going to cancel and drag Justin Baldoni without asking any questions, without looking deeper into this.
How do you guys feel about this? How do you guys feel? I need to hear from the girls. Girls, get in the comments, because how do we feel about this? Very interesting. Very interesting. I will actually give some of my personal opinion at some point throughout this video. But I just wanted to get into some of the clips I'm seeing on my timeline. Like, what?
I am going to play you a video in its full entirety so you can gain context and nuance. And then after the video, I am going to ask the fine ladies and gentlemen of this TikTok court one question.
I am his home, and our girls are his home. And just like that 19-year-old boy, he races home. Whether it's from across the globe or a meeting across the street, he is hardwired to get home. If he came home from set not in his wardrobe, we would be...
Now we're pulling clips. Again, like, this is how, again, PR, nightmare. Nightmare for her and her team, especially. Also, media training. These people are media trained, and like, even this clip that she's showing here is so media trained to like give this speech, like PR, public speaking. Oh my gosh. Like her tone and like her cadence right now, very interesting.
Concerned. Soaked in mud, fake blood, real blood, prosthetic scars, superhero suits, tap shoes, or clown makeup. Daddy always comes home. And that man races back to his real life like nothing I have ever seen, especially not by someone who's able to be so all in his work life. He's able to somehow be everything to everyone all at once. He's the most present person you will ever meet. And yes, he creates magic in his work, but man, oh man, does he create magic in his real life.
I'm not gonna lie, I watched this particular video about 5-6 times today, and I had seen it before when it was first posted in 2022. She was pregnant with her 4th child, and I'm not gonna lie, she looks absolutely stunning and beautiful and glowing, and it choked me up seeing how devoted and dedicated she is to her husband and her family. They're both devoted and dedicated to each other. There's no lying with that. They may be actors, but that type of love you cannot fake. And this is why I'm a little conflicted in regards to some ain't right in the bathwater. I have questions. And if you've ever seen Ryan Reynolds' tweets from when their firstborn came into the picture, when she was a toddler, as well as their 2nd and 3rd child when they're toddlers, he used to give hilarious dad accounts of their little adventures, of him being a father. He is devoted to his wife and his family. And this is why I have a question for you all. Ladies and gentlemen, does this appear to be a family man who will idly stand by and allow his wife to be sexually harassed on a movie production set that he himself has physically been present in?
I'm gonna let y'all answer that for yourselves in the comments. What do you think? It is a good point. It is a good point. And again, now people are just making their points now. So that's Bohemian Diva. I love her content. I've just found her through this not even controversy, but this lawsuit and reporting on it. And I definitely gave her a follow. She makes some really good content. So let's move on.
Telling the Black community, survivors of DV, and survivors of assault that they are victim shaming and blaming Blake Lively just because they have a bone to pick with her. Blake Lively got married at a plantation. She supported Woody Allen. When she was asked how she would speak to—
Whoa, what? Yeah, I keep seeing people say this, and what? Elaborate, please. Elaborate, please. And quickly. Because this is, in some of these videos, this is when I get to my personal opinion. Because at a certain point, I'm like, what is actually going on here? What?
Speak to survivors of DV regarding the movie. She made a disgusting, dismissive joke. Go watch the footage on that. People are allowed to be hurt by this woman without victim blaming and shaming her. That is why I posted my original thoughts about Blake in 2 separate videos. Because if she was a survivor of SH, she should pursue that. I'm not saying she shouldn't. But in the same breath, in another video, I highlighted all of the other issues with her and her other claims that Justin Baldoni ruined her reputation. He can talk about our issues with Blake Lively separate and aside from the SH allegations against Justin Baldoni. Because guess what? You can be a survivor and be problematic as well. So am I here saying that the SH never happened to Blake? No, I'm not saying that. She should pursue that. But I am so tired of you guys persecuting the Black community, survivors of DV, and survivors of assault for the extremely hurtful and problematic things that Blake Lively has done to those communities in the past. And no, I have not read the new lawsuits yet. I will read them, I will get to them, and I will post my thoughts about them.
This is very true. This is very true. Like, just leave certain marginalized groups alone. And that's just what I'm going to say on that. That's just that on that. That's just that on that. And 2 things can 100% be true at the same time. So, yeah, I'm never also going to discredit anyone for bringing forward their stories, attempting to do therefore, again, with the situation too. It's unfolding in real time right now, people. Like, wait until everything comes to the table and it concludes to truly give your 100% opinion on things. People are like 100% right now on their opinions. Which is valid. You're entitled to your opinion regardless, nonetheless. But I just never like to look like, I've just spoken too soon on something. And I also just let all the information come forward. I don't know. Also, sorry, I feel like my hair looks crazy right now, but I really just jumping on and filming again since I was about to relax and edit the video and just do my thing. But I'm seeing all these videos on TikTok. Okay, let's do another one. Oh, actually, I went to the comments under this video, and I believe I have that. Let's find it.
Of victim shaming. She can be a survivor and not a good person at this.
Okay, here we go. Someone put Blake Lively is not a victim. Crazy. Blake Lively blew up her career all by herself, period. End of story. She is not a good person. Oh my gosh, these comments are visceral. But again, remember how we said people are using comments nowadays to pursue and use as evidence for proof of like defamation, for example. And so, ooh, she got a lot of evidence. You got a lot of evidence here, ma'am, Miss Blake. Ooh. And then someone said this, nuance is dead on the internet. Blake Lively is a horrendous person, but that doesn't mean she deserved to be a victim of SH. Two things can be true at once. Exactly. So let the evidence come forward, let the case play out, but your opinions and experiences of Blake currently or in the past are still valid. And I'm here for it. So keep spilling in the comments.
Same time. Stop telling the Black community, survivors of DV, and survivors of assault that they are victim shaming.
Someone said, as someone who lives in SC, close to where Boone Hall is, Blake Lively could have chosen a different location for her wedding. There are plenty of other places to get married. Okay, yeah, I really need that background on where she got married. And apparently too, because I've seen other videos, so I'll just tell you now, that a lot of these pictures of the wedding aren't even easily able to be found, or maybe not able to be accessed at all, which is weird, especially for like a celeb. And she's a very like in-your-face celeb. So is whatever that other man is. The man she's Ryan Reynolds. Oh, thank you, comments. Ryan Reynolds. Because I don't know none of these people. I don't know none of these white people. Oh, I know them. I really don't. I also just don't know celebs like that. Okay. But another comment says Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds and Sony Pictures and Colleen and the PR team to be sued by Justin and everyone else who caused damage, allegedly. I need people in the comments to start using allegedly when you are claiming something. Because
just because they have a bone to pick with her.
Let's go forward a little bit. What you don't get is she never defended Woody Allen and she never defended Harvey Weinstein. And as for the plantation, The Notebook was filmed in that plantation. So, and I used to say The Notebook was my favorite movie. It was filmed on a plantation. Still love my favorite movie. That's all you had to say. What was that, Roz? Thank you, sir. Never watched that movie again. What? Who knew this? Did y'all know that? Oh my gosh. Ridiculous. Can we have nothing that's light, especially as a Black person? Oh my God. Woo. There was discourse back and forth. Because in my head, I'm like, was there a response to this? So because The Notebook, a white film, by the way, was filmed here, her getting married there is suddenly okay. Let me guess. You can excuse ism, but draw the line at a fellow white woman getting attacked. No, I'm simply saying that we're not protesting it. It's still open. It gets millions of dollars every year. Oh, so the plantation is still open? Or probably maybe a site for people to go that are The Notebook fans. I don't know. Let me know, though. Let me know. And don't support them. And I don't hear anyone talk about it besides when it's blatant. You should think about who this we is, though. Are the people who you get your messaging from and who you surround yourself with people whose ancestors were terrorized on that. Ooh, clock his T9. People who's on that land, yeah, right. And then someone said this, a bunch of white feminists ignoring other groups. And I think that person's white that said that, because if we're looking at the profile picture there, they look white. And this creator is white passing. So very interesting that these are the people, which I love to see it, as y'all should. Finally, somebody else say something, please. Leave Black people alone. Oh, literally, because the next comment, and maybe my subconscious already knew, because I have seen, obviously, I screen recorded this. Yeah, let's leave Black women alone in 2025. We went through too much, especially after the election. Let's not forget the majority of the white men that are complaining voted for Trump. Thank you. I don't want to hear nothing from nobody. I think I already talked about that in another video. I don't want to hear nothing from nobody. Okay. And someone said, I literally saw people in comments saying that we should excuse her ism because men are ist too. What? Wow. Everyone needs to understand that you can dislike Blake and hold her accountable for her actions and believe that she was harassed and that harassment is wrong. Like, absolutely. Absolutely. But I hate to break it to you, Junebug, if that woman had her wedding on a plantation, I don't care about nothing. I don't care about nothing that has to do with nothing of nothing. I'm obviously still going to report on the PR and the presence of her basically plummeting her career, at least her public image. Career and financial status, well, she's rich, right? The rich will be rich. But her perception in terms of like audience and her public identity, definitely will still be reporting on that. But other than that, consequences of your own actions, babe. Did that equate to you needing to be harassed? Absolutely not, especially if that's true. Absolutely not. But do I have like any kind of like, oh, like, no, I don't know. And I don't know this person. Like, I literally don't know her. So there's that. People in the comments are ruthless, girl. Ruthless. I really hope that someone in one of these videos touches on the plantation thing, because I really need to understand.
Creator up here so brilliantly pointed out how when the Blake Lively lawsuit dropped, it was mostly Black women who were up here being like, this seems suspicious. This doesn't really seem right. I was one of those creators and people were just like, you just hate women. You don't want to believe women. You're just a misogynist at heart. You need to learn how to decenter men. And I think a lot of that our initial suspicions, our immediate suspicions come from, I can speak for myself personally, is that once you have been a victim to having a white woman make herself the victim and paint you as the villain, and once you have personally experienced how quickly people believe her without proof, like she does not need proof. Her tears are all the proof she needs to make the accusations that she's pointing out to be truth. That makes them all truth. And how quickly people villainize you and don't care about your side or what you have to say or what evidence or any proof. Nobody wants to hear it. You made the white girl cry. That's it. That you're a monster. So like once you personally experience that, I think for me personally, it like creates an instinct of like fight or flight in me, so that when I see someone, another white woman doing it to somebody else, I can see it from a mile away. Like it was so traumatic for me that it triggers me immediately, instantly. I'm like, oh nope, I see what she's doing. I'm like, I've seen this play before. She's gonna be the victim. I was paying such close attention to this press run from even before it turned dramatic because one, I used to like the way Blake Lively dressed, so I was kind of curious to see what she was going to wear, so I was paying attention to press because of that. And also I was curious to see the stuff that they were going to say during interviews because I had heard rumors that Blake Lively thought she was going to get an Oscar nomination for this, so I was kind of curious. It's like, what the fuck is going on in this film? What would she think that? So I was paying attention before it all blew up. And from the beginning, again, going into this press run, because I think in Blake Lively's mind, she thought that she could make this, if she made this press run successful, she was going to be able to to turn this into basically an Oscar campaign run. You could tell that's the vibe, right? From the beginning, when she was being interviewed, they were asking questions about the creative process and about the wardrobe and about the editing and about the intimacies, all these things. And she kept being like, I, my husband, me and my husband. I was in charge of wardrobe. I worked with the intimacy coordinator. My husband wrote the final scenes. Me and my husband made the final edits. She kept making it seem like she was involved in every single part of the creative aspect. And I, from a jump, thought that was weird because I was like, a lot of the stuff that she's stating is stuff that the director should be doing. So it's weird that she's the one doing it. But okay, I think she wants to put an emphasis on how involved she was in this project so that she can take credit for most of the project's success. So then turning around and in your lawsuit saying that they gave you the title of executive producer as a vanity and basically you were bullied on set and you didn't have a say on anything that happened on set. It's like, well, 1 + 1 is not equaling 2 because both those things can't be true. But I think the moment where she really lost credibility for me personally was when the conversation started turning on the internet and people started saying kind of negative things about her and the way that she was behaving on press, right? And her accusation in this lawsuit is basically that he started a smear campaign against her. But the first negative article I ever saw related to this film was after the conversation started online and people being like, she's being kind of inappropriate. We can't believe that she's talking like this, which another thing is like, you're suing him saying it's a smear campaign, but the conversation about you negatively on the internet started because of shit that was coming directly out of your mouth. People were taking quotes of shit and posting videos, shit.
I said this in my last video. I literally said this in my last video, and that's why I was confused. And that's why I'm still a little bit confused on her positioning and goal with this, wanting to sue and just everything. And then just her team's rollout and initiation of communication with the public of this. Like, it's just confusing me. It's confusing me because this smear campaign, literally began off of viral clips on TikTok, which I need to pull. I need to pull those. I need to run those back. I really need to run those back. Or you could run them back by a simple search on TikTok of moments of her interviews for the movie. And that's what people were commenting on. They were commenting on things that literally came out of her mouth. How this creator just said. What is this creator's name, by the way? Yeah, who are the last two creators that we just touched on? I think it's Jaheliss is the creator we're watching now, and Allegra was the last creator that we were watching. And it says Allegra Ricardo, so I said she's white passing. Hopefully, again, I'm not sure of her ethnicity, so just wanted to put that out there. But literally, so I'm just so confused, Blake and team, of what is going on, and like how they're, again, literally trying to blame and accuse Justin's team of this smear campaign, and that's what's ruining her career. It's not even. And what's making it worse is that those interviews that she did and those just clips of just poor presentation of her during the rollout in the press for the movie, it had people that were in communication with her or have had experience with her come forward. Like none of that had to do, and all that happened before this Justin stuff. No one even knew his name like that. No, I'm sorry, at least not from what I knew from like scrolling my socials. No one even knew this man was like that until really she started, basically, we were hearing things were not going well on set. We heard that happening. And we heard something about like people like not following each other and like following and unfollowing. Like I remember seeing that. But in terms of like this whole smear campaign rooted from this man, it was rooted from your terrible interviews. Truly terrible interviews and terrible responses to interview questions, poor media training, even though like I know you're media trained. Like, girl, I know what was going on. I don't know what was going on.
That came out directly out of your mouth. Nothing that Justin did, no edits, nothing like that. People were taking exact quotes of words that you said. But okay. But after that conversation started, I guess in the attempt to get ahead of it, her and her team put out that article being like, Justin fat shamed me on set. That was the first negative article I ever saw related to the story. Put out by her and her team in an attempt to like regain control of the narrative and make him the villain and her the victim. And then I read the article, and in the article it says that Justin had just been recovering from a back injury, and he went to her personal trainer behind her back and was like, hey, how much does she weigh so that I can train properly, because we have a scene in which I'm supposed to lift her up and I don't want to hurt myself. Which feels like an appropriate thing to do. And he went behind her back instead of asking her directly, because maybe he thought that asking her directly was going to offend her. I'm like, that feels like an appropriate professional thing for him to have done. I don't get it. So I'm like, so then you turning around and putting out this article of like, he fat shamed me was insane to me. So I feel like that was the first moment where I was like, oh, you and your team are working. Like, I was like, oh, you and your team are spinning a narrative for sure. Like, you two are working overtime to make sure that he's the villain. So when that lawsuit came out, to me, it was immediately like, oh, she's trying to regain the narrative, right? Like, I think in her mind, Blake Lively thought that her and Taylor Swift are the same person, right? I think that Blake Lively was under the impression that she had the same amount of goodwill with the general public that Taylor Swift has, right? Where Taylor Swift, yes, Taylor Swift gets caught up in controversies time and time again, but the public, for the most part, her fans are loyal to her, right? They don't give a fuck. It doesn't matter what Taylor Swift does, they're going to forgive her, and she's always going to be beloved. Like, maybe it'll be a week or two, but after that, people will love her again. She will always be America's sweetheart. And I think from being best friends with Taylor Swift for all that time, Blake Lively was under the impression that she had that same kind of goodwill with the general public. So she was shocked. She never.
I'm gonna tell you right now, and the reason that is because Taylor offers value to some individuals. I don't know what, because I'm not really a Taylor fan like that, but she does with her music. She's consistently out there, and I guess you could maybe argue that with Blake Lively in these movies or whatever. But especially if the movies are subpar and she doesn't do anything outside of that, she barely even like really talks to the public to that degree, like at least I would say. Sorry, hang on, something in my eye. Like we just don't know her like that. Like who's Blake Lively in terms of like actual like cult following in a sense? Like Taylor has a cult following. You know, like I would never count Blake Lively as some of those. And there's a lot of actresses that would not equate to that. Even like what's that one girl's name? Angelina Jolie. She's the closest to someone that has like a cult following in that sense, where like no matter what she does kind of thing. And even then. So that's why it's not like that. So I don't know why she would ever even think that. Hopefully she didn't think that. She could be that deluded to think that or ever compare her career to someone of the like stature of like Taylor Swift.
Right, in a million years thought that if she had to go to war with somebody like Justin Baldoni, that the public would pick Justin's side. She never in a million years thought it would ever happen. Ever, ever, ever. So instead of dealing with the aftermath of being like, shit, I lost, and like trying to recover, instead she's like, all right, fuck it, I'm going to take this all the way to hell, and I'm going to paint myself out to be the ultimate victim. And that's what this fucking lawsuit was about, and I think it's bullshit, and it angers me again because I think it makes a mockery out of real victims. I said that before, and I will say it again. At its core, this is just about a precious little white girl who thought that in a million years she would always be able to do whatever the fuck she wanted. She would always get her way, and people would always like her. And it turns out for the first time in her fucking life, she's dealing with consequences and repercussions of people being like, actually, no, you can't behave that way. Actually, no, you can't say stuff like that. And people are holding her accountable, and she cannot take this L. Making it seem like she was involved in.
I also went to this creator's comment section, and so we're going to go through some of those too. Someone said this is an honest question. I'm just confused and would like help understand. I'm sorry, y'all. I hate to break to you, but I'm already just going to stop there. I don't think this was a comment I wanted to read because I'm not helping anybody understand nothing in 2025. Scroll. Next. It's because Black women experienced real harassment, and the BL complaint sounds like whining. And what is it, BL? BL complaint sounds like whining and something she could talk to the production about and resolve it like adults. Yeah, a lot of it sounds like something that could just be resolved, like not with an entire lawsuit anyway. Let me get this a little bit closer. Okay. Let's keep going. White women have been the least trustworthy people on earth. History has proven this time and time again. Our intuition is unmatched. I mean, that's where the term like white women tears came from. Like it is a term for a reason. So that's just all I'll say about that. Just like Megan and Kate Middleton knew it was the other way around. Again, the comments are ruthless right now. Ruthless. Not on Blake's side whatsoever. I kept telling people she was an executive producer on that movie. Let me see if that goes a little higher. She had majority of control, so I found it highly unlikely. Yeah, you don't, because they have the potential to have the most power and control over the movie. Google is quite free. Ooh. Let's see if there's any other comments. I didn't believe her from jump, but never said it out loud. Why are we saying it out loud now? Everyone, do as you will. Their chosen wedding venue is all I need to know for the rest of her career. So the same thing. Plus, I've been side-eyeing her since Plantation Wedding and Antebellum clothing brand. That part, like the unapologetic, unmitigated gal. I haven't liked her since. And Woody Allen. She praised him 100%, but couldn't bear Justin Baldoni. Oh, interesting. What's with this Woody Allen stuff that people are talking about? See if there was any more in here that I had seen. I had this feeling, but then yelled at myself because a victim doesn't have to be perfect. That's how most of us are. And now I'm like, yeah, I was probably right. Yeah, but I was fighting between I don't trust her and nobody's perfect, but it wasn't sitting right. And so it's almost like, again, internet almost creates its own opinion. So the internet's almost basically created their opinion that they don't believe her. And I'm like, oh my gosh. The internet is such an interesting place. These are a few more. Saw the play from the beginning. I told a friend to wait for more facts because Miss Plantation Wedding is no Jane Fonda. Woo! Someone said I was so surprised how quickly the sentiment on my For You page turned to her side, but I shouldn't have been. Y'all. Oh my gosh.
Her complaint is not specific enough, in my opinion. For the marketing of the film, there's a doc that's called a marketing plan, although it's not a marketing plan. In my opinion, it's more just like key messaging. In it, for the marketing plan, they're all aligned that the messaging for the film and for the character will be more around her like strength and resilience and less about focusing on the very specific issue of domestic violence or like sad or heavier theme. Justin's doing very early on his like, press moments where he's like handing out fucking flowers and doing like the topical thing. Blake is talking about resilience and strength very broadly, and we as an audience are not receiving that very well. And from the timelines, I'm seeing we are all doing that organically. This movie is based on a book, a very popular book. Many people already attached to the character and have connected with the themes of the book. And it's surprising for fans of the book to hear the lead of the movie skirt over the topics that are central to the book. Blake in the
again, words that she said, things that came out of her mouth. Nothing to do with anything else. And by the way, this is Culture Work. I love this creator, love their content so much. Definitely give them a follow. You can see the @ there, I believe. I believe that's their @ at culturework, I believe. Let me double check. Wait. Maybe that, no. Yes, I'm right. Culturework. Love their content.
Complaint starts trying to connect that moment back to Justin. Line 82 of the complaint is where you start losing me, Blake, basically saying in advance of the release of the film, nearly all, although she does not mention herself as nearly all, but nearly all of the cast are trying to separate themselves from Justin because of his on-set behavior. That includes not wanting to be photographed or appear with Justin. Now, again, the document called the marketing plan is included in the complaint, but it's not really a marketing plan. However, the cast obligations document is not included in there. And I have to assume that cast obligations included all arriving to the premiere, posing for fucking photos, and pretending everything is hunky-dory until this thing wraps. I can't find a fucking single photo of him and Blake together. Was Blake not getting photographed with him a counter to the marketing plan, to the contractual agreements? I don't know. Because of the nearly all the cast engaging in that contractual mutiny, I guess, and pivoting from that plan, I guess, Justin then starts pivoting from the plan.
Very interesting. I need your thoughts in the comments. Give your thoughts. And then there's people that are basically going on to explain their thoughts on Justin as well. And I have a short story time on that I do want to play here in a moment. Let me go ahead and just do a few other clips.
Blake Lively was lying because women like her are the bane of my corporate existence. I have had to deal with women like her in HR, in group projects. I've had to supervise and manage women like her, and they all act the same way. I sensed those WW tears a mile away.
WW tears is crazy. Oh my God. Which, if you don't know WW, it's a white woman. If you didn't know that and I had to just explain that to you, I need you to really do some more researching. Google is free. You saw the last comment section. Google is free, okay?
I don't believe Blake Lively, and I'm going to tell you one of the reasons why. So during the promotion of the movie, she talked heavily about the fashion. And come to find out, she had actually taken over all of those fashion choices, which is why she was promoting the fashion, because she had made every single one of those outfits herself. To the point where Baldoni had to literally rewrite the script in areas because she was like, no, this girl can wear couture, Gucci, when Baldoni had insisted on her being kind of lower middle class or lower class. Which is why, again, she promoted the fuck out of her own fashion choices. She wanted the public to agree with her and think, oh my gosh, these are so great. But when she saw that the public negatively interacted with her choices, she spun the narrative to be in her favor. Oh, I was only allowed to talk about the fashion. Blake is a snake. And that's one of the many reasons I don't believe her.
Wow. Do you see how these videos are? Imagine her team watching this. Again, if I was on her PR or marketing team, I'm watching these or seeing these videos come out and I'm like, again, not going to tell you what I would do. Hire me if you're interested, girl. But I'm not interested. I can't work for, okay, you know what, never mind. You know where I was going with that. But girl, again, I won't give you the answers for free, but as one in the field, a nightmare. A nightmare. And she seems almost a nightmare client to work with because maybe she's not listening. That's why I say, who's on her PR team? She must have a team that she's just not listening to. It has to be that. We've almost gotten to that has to be what's going on here. It can't be anything else, right? Can't be.
I wanted to debunk some Twitter facts, especially one rumor that's been going on that I'm so I keep hearing it everywhere in the comment section and people are sending me messages about this. So I just wanted to clear.
Oh, this needs a little bit of context. This is a journalist that did an interview with Blake Lively that presented Blake Lively in a bad light, and she needed to speak on that because there were reports and things coming out of this being a fabricated or not genuine, basically fabricated interview. And so she came to TikTok to speak on that because she's the one interviewing. And so obviously that would be damaging to her career. That's what she has to say.
Clear it up once for all. So when someone comments on something, I can just send them this link to this video so they will know the truth. Okay, so some people are spreading rumors that I was told not to mention Blake Lively's pregnancy before the interview. I have no idea where this information is coming from. And I don't think the people spreading it knows either, because no one asks for any evidence or facts. They're just like, oh, we will take that narrative because then we can excuse Blake Lively's behavior for this journalist, and that's why she was being rude to her, because she was told these things beforehand. So my question is, who was there when I was told this? I wasn't, and no one else that did that junket was told not to mention her pregnancy. So these are just things that people sit and make up, and then some people believe it because they really want to believe it. And that's what I'm talking about with critical thinking here. Imagine if I was told not to mention someone's pregnancy or anything else in an interview. Why would I do that? First thing as I enter that room, that would be career suicide for me.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know why people were accusing her of this. I'm so confused. And also, this is just a moment that I can say. One thing that I always like to say to anyone that is on social media, consuming anything, honestly, not even social media. If you are consuming anything, you need to be a consciously, actively, and at this point, aggressively critical consumer, critical thinker, critical everything. Fact check, double check, proofread. You know what I mean? Like everything. Because of things like this happening and because people just lying. People just be lying, especially nowadays. Especially nowadays when you can almost make money for lying. Not even almost. You can't make money for lying. Thus, you must be very critical. Okay, so keep that up there, okay?
Would you ever think about that? But I've been doing these kind of interviews for 18 years. At that point, I'd been doing them for shorter period of time, 12 years maybe. But if I was told not to do something, why would I do that? And just to congratulate her, I would risk, losing that interview and, losing my job maybe for just congratulating her. Does that make any sense to you? Secondly, Blake Lively had been very public about her pregnancy already. She had been on talk shows talking about how it was being pregnant the second time. It was different from the first time, how her body has changed, all these things that, she had already talked about. So for her to snap at me like that for congratulating her, there's no reasoning behind it. So she didn't have a reason to be rude to me throughout the entire interview because I said that. If I would have just congratulated her without having the permission to do so, they would have taken the interview away from me. I would never have received the interview at the end of the day because they keep those little tapes and they give them to you at the end of the day when you've done all your interviews. And I've seen many times that journalists don't get their tape with them when the publicist or someone else isn't happy with the interview. That happened to me on my second interview with Blake Lively. The guy before me, they took his tape away. So that happens. And if I had done something like that, they probably would have taken my tape away. What does seem to me odd is that they actually let my interview slide, that they did give it to me. And that says to me that they thought that kind of behavior was normal. Why didn't a publicist or anyone say, oh, you're not going to get that interview? Because they could do that, but they gave it to me. So for them, that was just normal Blake Lively behavior. Anyways, I just had to make that point straight so you understand how ridiculous it is to make up this story. And also, if you think about it, where does this information come from? So this is the problem with social media. People just buy into all these lies because it fits their narrative. Now they want Blake Lively to be the victim. And when my interview shows a bad side of her, people need to make excuses for it. To be like, oh, but it wasn't her fault. It was the journalist. Oh my gosh, it's so dumb.
Very interesting. Very interesting. And I agree, because that doesn't make sense to me. I don't know. I didn't see this interview that she's referencing, but again, I did see her speaking on this. They wouldn't have published that. They would have been pulled. It has to be, if anything, just kind of normal behavior. If anything, she's been worse, which is crazy. I don't know how bad the interview is, but y'all can let me know in the comments if you've seen it. Okay, let's see what else we have here. I think we only have a few more videos left because this is already a pretty long video. Oh, but I want to get into this story time really quick that somebody is reporting about Justin. And her caption basically says that, long story short, spoiler alert, he's a nice guy.
Okay, story time. I've never done a story time, but I thought I would weigh in on the Justin Baldoni kerfluffle. I am not taking sides because what do we know about what happened, right? But I did have a few interactions with Justin Baldoni and his lovely wife and family. I'm a woodworker. I make furniture and cabinetry. And I don't know, maybe 7 years ago now or longer, my partner Sally came to me and said, hey, I think we should approach Justin Baldoni about building a table for him. I was like, what? That's silly. Why would he, like, he's a big star on Jane the Virgin. Why would he want a table from us? And the reason she said that was,
He was on Jane the Virgin. I don't think I watched Jane the Virgin, but I know it's a very popular show. I think in my last video I said, I don't know that man. I mean, I still don't, but I didn't know he was on that. Very interesting.
was because she had seen his talks about the masculine and the feminine and females in a masculine world and, you know, toxic masculinity, you know, all that stuff. So she thought since we're two women in a masculine field, he might like that and it might help our business grow. So she DM'd him and he responded. And we ended up making a table for them. And it was such a sweet experience. They couldn't have been nicer. They were, at the time, living in Culver City and just kind of starting their life out with a family. And we delivered the table. Everything went smoothly. He made a little Instagram video for us to help us with our social media. I'll try and figure out how to attach it since I don't know how to do complicated things in TikTok, but I will try. I am dog walking in Boulder, Colorado right now. So this is...
She ain't talking about nothing. Girl, he was nice. Okay. Like, he was nice. All right. Cute story. Get your clicks, girl. Let's close things out with a reaction from a professional in the field, from a lawyer.
This is my lawyer reaction to the Justin Baldoni versus New York Times complaint that was just filed yesterday, I believe. Yep, December 31st. I skimmed over the 87 pages, so you don't have to. First, I'll say that it's not just Justin Baldoni that is a plaintiff in this. It's also his PR team, Melissa Nathan, the Jen Apel woman, Wayfair, that guy James Heath. All of them are plaintiffs in this against the New York Times. There are a couple of causes of action. The first is libel. The second is false light, invasion of privacy. The third is promissory fraud. And the fourth is breach of implied contract. Basically, the allegations allege that the New York Times cherry-picked things, they did not verify things, and they really only took Blake Lively's side of the story, and that they had a disregard for evidence. The complaint also brings something up that I think is super important, and it's that Blake did not file a lawsuit. She filed a right to sue letter with the state of California for civil rights violations, or with the Civil Rights Department. And what makes this different from a lawsuit is that she would not have to go through discovery. She could sue later and then have to go through discovery. But the plaintiff side of this brings this up because this is super important, because it's really allowing her to show her side of the story only. Which is why I do think Justin's team here is really playing chess by now suing the New York Times and bringing all the rest of this out to light. Also, these right to sue letters for the state of California for civil rights, I think that they're supposed to be confidential, which means that the original letter here got leaked, which does kind of indicate that this might be about reputation. There's a really important fact here that gets brought up, and it's that the New York Times had reached out to Justin Baldoni's team for comment before they published the article. And they reached out on, I think, like the evening of December 20th. And they said that they would have until noon on the 21st to comment. However, the article was allegedly published 2 hours earlier. So it was published around 10 a.m. on December 21st. And so that's really where those last two causes of action kind of come from, because they're saying that they didn't uphold their end of the bargain here. And if they weren't hearing the other side of the story, then they really weren't doing their due diligence with what was going on. They really weren't looking.
We'll see where this goes and how it holds up in court. It's just a really hard battle to win, so I've heard. I'm not a lawyer, but I've been watching lawyers react to it. It just seems very difficult. We'll see if it even makes it through, if they end up dropping it. We're going to see how that evolves.
Looking for the other side. Now, who knows, when you see a complaint or, you know, Lively's letter, it is one-sided, right? So we have to keep that in mind here. This is meant to make Justin look good, but I think that there are some really interesting facts that he brings up, or allegations, I shouldn't say facts. There were some text messages in the Lively letter that alluded to the fact that Melissa Nathanson had planted the stories. And kind of when you read all of the text messages, it does look like there was an emoji that was left out that might indicate that it was sarcastic. I also don't know why they would leave the emoji out, since it was part of the text message. It's an upside down smiley face. Then there's more in the text chain that they're exchanging jokes on something else. And so it does provide a little bit more of a gray area there. There's also a lot of text messages from August where Justin's team is basically saying, wow, this really looks like we planted this, but we in fact didn't. And obviously that's just what they're stating, but these text messages, it does look like they're from August. So it's quite possible that they didn't actually plant this. Furthermore, there was some text exchange between, I believe, Melissa and TMZ, and it was about a bad story for Blake. And Melissa said something along the lines of, oh, this looks like this came from Justin's side. And clearly, like, she's exchanging text with the person from TMZ, like it clearly didn't. And she goes, who's your source on this? I just want to check because it looks like it came from us. And he's like, oh, we got somebody from the crew. I find it interesting when I go through this lawsuit because so much of it is through text messages and not email. I guess I'm used to corporate America, so it is interesting to see kind of the inner workings of how PR works, and it seems to be mainly through text messages and phone calls.
That's not the norm. Well, at least not for clients that I work with in the niches and industries that I work in. We don't text that much. It's definitely very much more email. Maybe it's like in the entertainment PR industry. Maybe like that's a thing. I guess sometimes with like influencers and like content creators, maybe text will happen every once in a while. But even then, I mainly email. But also my main form of communication is email because I just don't check my phone that much. I'm constantly either doing something, editing on my phone, and my phone's on Do Not Disturb. You know, neither here nor there. But that's interesting. That I find it interesting as well too. That a lot of this case and development, like, and a lot of the communications are just through text. I don't know. I find that really weird and very unprofessional. But that's just maybe me. I don't find text to be professional. I don't know why. I just have always felt that way.
There are also some texts between Blake and Justin, and she's saying, oh, I think I should wear this because it's sexier. So she's kind of starting that conversation, or at least she's contributing to the conversation. Who knows what was above it in the conversation chain, but it didn't come across like she was not okay with that. And there was a video about Heath's home birth with his wife, and they're alleging that he showed this video because of the birthing scene in the movie, and it was in fact to kind of talk about the movie and the scene that they were going to film. So I think that kind of changes things a little bit too, because this is not corporate America, right? They're making this film. It's just intrinsically a different environment, and then also the nature of the film too. Then there were a lot of text messages between two editors and Justin about losing control over editing, and it turns out that it doesn't seem like anybody saw the film until the premiere because Blake and her team had really taken over control. At least that's what these text messages are seemingly indicating, which definitely seems a bit odd since he's the director and they're the editors, and it appears from these messages that Blake had her and Ryan's team come in and really take over. And I suppose that begs the question of why. Maybe there is a reasonable reason for why that occurred. And the editor makes an interesting comment to Justin because he says he wants to edit things per Blake's requests, I guess, and doesn't know if he should stay in California to make the edits or if he should go to Blake. And he's like, maybe I should go to Blake so that she can't use the excuse of, oh, you weren't with me and I need more time and I have to edit it. And I thought that text message was potentially indicative of a larger problem there. I mean, I might be reading into it, but that's kind of how I read it. There's also a mention that during the sit down that was discussed in the Lively complaint letter for the protections to return to production, that there was like a Sony rep involved. This appears to have happened like the night before they were supposed to return to production after the 5 months of being on strike. And according to Justin, he was completely blindsided by this. He thought he was going over there to like discuss the movie. And when he sat down, allegedly they have some Sony rep that was there that feels very bad for how Ryan Reynolds spoke to Justin and wishes that they intervened because of how berating Ryan was to Justin. Obviously, this is a complaint. It's one side of the story, so we will have to see what comes out. It's all just alleged. And while I'm a lawyer, this is not legal advice, and I am not your lawyer.
Yeah, you said I am not your lawyer. You're a lawyer. Okay, girl. I know that's right. And who's that creator? What was her name? Katie Pope. Katie Pope. And that Storytime one, she does not have a username. She does not have a username. Let me click on it to make sure. Oh, mongobeti. Mongobeti. I don't think she really posts on TikTok like that. That's probably why. She probably just wanted to post a little story time, and she probably has like a business page or something of the sort. But that is the public discourse right now when it comes to, I almost said Amber Heard. Oh, Lord. Girl, no. Blake Lively. Wow. Wow. So in the comments, again, I just want to have discourse on how you're feeling about all of this. I'm going to need to take a break from it for the rest of the day since I did 2 videos on the topic, basically like multiple hours of my day, like researching and getting all the videos together and watching about this white woman that I don't even care about. Okay, let me just be honest. But overall, this is definitely a really good lesson in PR. Like, hopefully people are writing this down. If, people that make textbooks for like other people, or if you like make courses at all, it's a great course and crash course on kind of what not to do, prevent this from happening. There's so many things prior to in her past career and past involvements that could have kind of prevented this image being painted of her. But it doesn't seem like she may care. So very interesting. We will keep seeing as this case develops and moves forward. Who knows? Maybe I think I might make a video about it when it's all wrapped up and said and done. But I thought this video was valuable because it's a little bit more in depth of people's reactions and how just like the public is dragging her to oblivion. Crazy. Her team is working overtime and they better be getting a good check. That's all I know. But yeah. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to go relax now with my life. I'm going to try to play my outro as well too, because I did make an outro. So hopefully it plays. But I will see you in the next video.